things were working properly, I don't think anybody wants to leave Nigeria. Nigeria is a very exciting place to be, especially that you have your friends, your family. It's sweet. Nigeria is a sweet place. The average Nigerian is a very exciting person to be with.
Welcome to Gist HQ, your favorite show on YouTube. Here we provide you with gist from across Africa and a lot more. Fasten your seatbelt, you're in for a jolly good ride. Japa is a term used in Nigeria to refer to leaving the country in search for greener pastures. Since the 70s and 80s, there have been various waves of the Japa syndrome amongst the middle class as they seek better opportunities in their careers and a higher standard of living. This wave is back, and Nigerians, especially young ones, are leaving the country in droves. One would wonder if some people are really thinking purposefully about their move or just following the bandwagon effect. To discuss this, I have with me Mr. Orus Michael, a professional photographer and blockchain expert. You're welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. It's always my pleasure to be here.
And then I have my co-host, Becky Onoja. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Okay, guys, let's go. In the last 5 years, right, there's been this increase of Japa, right? It's now a very popular lingua. You don't Japa, you never Japa. In fact, you'll be checking on people to say you don't Japa. So it's like something we use in starting conversation. It's still in this country, right? So what do you think has fueled it to a very high level? Why people are trying to like move out in the last 5 years?
Simple, straightforward, simple and straightforward question. Poverty and low standard of living.
Poverty and low standard of living. So what do you think, Becky?
I think is low standard of living in Nigeria and the lack of basic amenities in Nigeria. Things that ordinarily should not be had. There's no light, there's no water, you're sick, you can't get treated properly, the roads are bad. I mean, I think that's the major. We're tired of Nigeria. And then we're going to rest.
This one you're saying you are joining them.
Come on.
Yeah, so I also have some people who have actually moved out of Nigeria, even with very good paying jobs. Because it's not really about they were not working or they didn't have jobs. But with very good paying jobs, talking like millions per month, they have to still move because of infrastructure, the system not working. They're thinking about their children, educational opportunities here. Do you understand? At the end of the day, this child will still go abroad to school. So why don't I just start from a lower age and all that? So those are some things that I think, like you said, just in addition to what you guys have said, is fueling the jackpot thing. Okay, so do you think really any Nigerian really wants to just leave their country?
Well,
if things were working properly.
Or if things were working properly, I don't think anybody wants to leave Nigeria. Nigeria is a very exciting place to be, especially that you have your friends, your family. It's sweet. Nigeria is a sweet place. The average Nigerian is a very exciting person to be with. So if things were working normally, I mean, my dad used to tell me that people would go abroad then and come back. People go abroad to school and come back to Nigeria to work because they preferred it here. So I don't think if things were working properly, anybody would go. Except maybe you like white people.
This topic is an emotional topic for me. And as we speak right now, currently, I have like over 15 close friends who relocated between last year and this year. And it's actually good to relocate. So let me put it in this way. Migration has been part of our life.
Human history.
Yeah, human history. So either things are good or bad, or
People will
bad,
still move.
people will
Yeah.
still move. People. So the human nature, we explore. We explore. That was why people were moving from countries to country to go and see how the empty space looked like. And that was how people were able to meet the history of the world. That was how people were able to move from Europe to US, and they find out that US was fertile and they move. So the human history, people move, migrate from one place to the other. So even if Nigeria was still good, people will still migrate for one reason or the other. And with the level we are right now as a global village, people will still migrate. So, okay, let me just go and relocate to so culture. I think I like their lifestyle. Even if things were okay, I think people will migrate better than the way it is now. But the migration will not be tied to because things are hard. Things are not working. When you look at US, Canada, Belgium, I have friends, some of my blockchain friends who has relocated from Canada, US because of just a single policy.
Yeah.
Are you getting me? Say, no, this policy, I don't like it. I want to go to Europe to go and stay. Are you getting me? So that is how things would have worked, even if Nigeria was working well. So people will still migrate.
Okay. Oh, awesome. I like that. I like that perspective that you just brought in, because sometimes it's even there are some skill set that you have that are more needed in a particular
That
place that
country
makes
that-
you they offer and makes
Yeah.
you leave, not because you don't have good leadership or
So,
resources in your
so,
country.
so just like now, so the migration in Nigeria right now is actually tied to more of low standard of living and poverty. But people are still migrating aside that. So I have a friend who migrated last year. He was working, he worked for an international company, but he was based in Nigeria here. He earns very well. But he decided to go to UK and be working from UK because he worked remotely. He said he liked the orderliness of UK and the way they live their life, and he relocated to UK. So
not all relocations, not all Japa
are really
following the
influenced
Japa
by
okay.
that.
Yeah. So now let's stay with those who we know the reason they're jackbarring, in quotes, is because of poverty, low standard, a search for a greener pasture. Let me put it that way. Okay? Whether they are poor or not, but they're just looking for a greener pasture, something better. What do you think people should consider before they start that move of emigrating or leaving the country? Becky?
I think that they should really think
Think about what?
if they are actually supposed to move in the first place. A lot of people have left this country. I can say boldly that some of them just left. They didn't have any plan. Am I going to go to school? Am I going to work for a while, save up, and then do something? I think the first thing you should consider is what your plan is. Why are you leaving? Why do you want to leave in the first place?
To run away from Nigeria.
Yes, and then what? You cannot just run and go and hang there. You have to be doing something. I think anybody who just wants to run away from Nigeria really has a plan for their life. They want their life to go a certain way, but it is not happening in Nigeria, and they are not seeing it happening anytime soon. So they leave and then try to go through that path again and see if it can go. So just think, what exactly is it that I am going to do? Am I going to work there? Am I going there to school? How exactly do I want to achieve what I want to achieve in another land? How?
It's not my country.
Yes.
Yeah. So, Oris, what do you think people should consider before they make that move?
Those who were in Nigeria, who were youths or who were working in the 80s in Nigeria, they will tell you Nigeria was a great country. When you compare Nigeria back then and Nigeria now, Nigerians in the late 70s, early 80s, Nigerians weren't doing the minga jobs. And if we can look back to our era, we grew up seeing Ghanaians, Togolese around us. Majority of them were bricklayers, we were shoemakers, we were different things. Those were the people who were doing menial job in Nigeria. But as time goes on, as management of our resources depreciates, then Nigerians were now forced into doing all those little things just to survive. And that was where, at a point, Nigeria looked at it that Ghanaians are taking our job, they have to go. That is where the acronym of Ghana Must Go came from. They actually drove Ghanaians out of Nigeria. Now, Nigeria population grew and mismanagement of our resources depreciated to a point that even the minga or the menial job are not there anymore. So we now resort to, you wake up, you look the wind. If you see wind, you swallow as food. Then things became more difficult. Now, those menial jobs that were it our job are now the menial job we are going other countries to go and do. So it's a terrible situation. I told you this topic is actually very emotional to me because I have thought of this. So I know people who are abroad and they are suffering. But they are not ready to come back. Now, why they left Nigeria is to make money. Now they are making the money. They realize that life is way beyond money. Now they are isolated, no family member. And Nigeria as a country, we are a collective community. We don't joke with our brothers, we don't joke with our uncles, our cousins. We are a collective people. Now you find yourself in an environment that is individualistic. Now, to function becomes a problem. Aside to function, you now look at the issue of he is not our own.
You're like second class.
Second class citizen. Then you start dealing with boredom. And that is why most Nigerians abroad find it very difficult. If the ones that are not intelligent doesn't come back home with anything, because they resort to clubbing as a means of creating joy, taking drugs as a means of creating joy. When you look at what is happening right now, in the long run, it will do more harm to us as a nation than good.
Wow.
Because most of the people, to Japa is not sheep. To Japa is not sheep. So most of the people who can afford Japa, they are middle class and upper class. Now, let me go a bit wider. The Western world, they are aware that Africans and Nigeria especially are desperate to live because things are hard. Now, in those days, 15, 20 years ago, they were coming in with visa lottery because they need people. But now they know that Africans are desperate. Now, they now make the educational means of jackpine easy so that you will not come to their country to turn users. Before they will start giving you, you have to give them.
Invested a lot.
Now, when you look at how much Nigeria is contributing to that economy alone, is more than enough to build our educational system.
True. Very
now,
true.
When you analyze this thing, you will know that this thing is cost, and this money they are spending, they are taking over there, is coming from Nigeria. So they are actually depreciating our value to reach to appreciate their value. In research, if I am asked to name this Japa, I will say slave trade is a digital slave trading. Because this point, we are giving them ourselves.
Submitting ourselves to become
now, what will you attribute all these things to? bad leadership.
Bad leadership.
Because we actually have everything to make Nigeria and Africa the best nation in the world.
Let's take a break here. And when we return, we'll continue this conversation. Japa or not to Japa. Okay, so now, continuing the conversation about modern slavery now becoming like what do you call it, digital slavery, where it's now us submitting ourselves to our colonial masters. What do you think about the restrictions? The new policies are now restricting visas somewhere like the UK now.
Restricting
dependent, yeah. So there's some restrictions that are now adding to their. Is it a response? It's a response to what you were saying, where they say they see that Africans are kind of desperate, especially Nigerians.
Yeah, so the thing is a response to what I am saying, but they can't afford to do that.
Yeah, because they need the money.
See, let me tell you something. It's just that we Africans or we Nigerians, we don't really do research. Now, let me tell you what is happening. Please give me time.
No time.
In 1940, there was Second World War. Mm-hmm. And that Second World War claimed a lot of life from the Western world. Then after that Second World War, the Western world recorded their highest birth rates in a period of 20 years. So it was until 1960 they started controlling birth, that the birth rate is too high. Mm. Now, this is what is happening to the Western world that we Africans are not aware of. Now, between that 1940 to 1960, those people, they call them the boomer generation, something yes. Like that. Now, that baby boomer, so the baby boomers right now, they are of age, and they are retiring. 70s going to their 80s. So they are retiring, now creating a vacuum in their workspace. Yeah. So most of all these things you are seeing, everybody jackpot, there is space. They're actually bringing Africa to come and fill those gaps. Yeah. That is what is actually happening. So there is labor force shrinking in the Western world. Mm. So that is what Africa is doing for them. So when they say they will stop dependent visa, they can't afford because they need Africa. Okay.
So Becky, just in us rounding up our conversation, how do you think we can stop or at least reduce, not stop, because people will always move, right? How can we reduce the emigration? Is there a magic that Nigeria can do?
Let the country just work well. This unemployment rate should reduce. Even at least let people have something to do. Let people have something to do that can earn them money. So the ones that are going out for school, if we can revamp totally our educational system, because it's as if sometimes it feels as if you're just going to school to waste your time, especially the university. You don't even know what you learn. Like what? Who's doing the YDX in real life?
Yeah, Horus, your take on how we can, what the magic is.
That's another topic. Let us
magic, yeah.
So the thing is, just as she said, let Nigeria work. See, if I have a friend who is in Abuja, and every time he keeps telling me that if he can have access to the things he have access to in his village, he will be in the village. Yeah. So if Nigeria is working, you will say majority of the people will not be thinking of Jack buying. It will be by choice, not by force, like condition is pushing you to go out. Nigeria should just work. And this is where most times everything now boils down to the government. Let them play their... Nigerians are trying. Nigeria will bring down a war to ensure he survives. If the government is playing their part, Nigerians will excel. Yeah. Nigerians and Nigeria will excel. Look at what Nigerians are doing elsewhere. Exactly. Some of the people you see in class, in those days we were in class together who cannot do anything. They are topping classes abroad. Yeah. What is the magic? What's the difference? Yeah. Nigeria needs to work. If Nigeria can work, if an average person can say, okay, I am lazy, but let me go and work. If the person can earn 200,000, it will be fine.
Yes.
Let the person, now let me just, sorry. The Japa system, it will be difficult for it to stop if Nigeria is not working. Because let me just tell you something. A Nigerian man will tell you, he make a Japa. If I dey go die for them, make I go die. Do you know why? A cleaner will receive $10 an hour,
Wow.
and the cleaner have an opportunity of working for 8 hours a day. That is $80 per day times 25. I beg, somebody should do the
And they
math.
pay you per week, actually.
No, let's say times 25. That will be 80 times 25. That's 10. That's 800, 16, and 800, 16. That's about $2,000. Yeah, that's about $2,000. Now, $2,000 in Nigeria today, at the black market rate, let's say 700, that's 1.4 million. A professor in Nigeria earns 500,000.
It doesn't earn up to 500,000.
Okay, let's say 500,000. So if I am a cleaner abroad and I'm earning 1.4, and I study to the highest level in Nigeria, I will still be earning 500,000. Now, look at the difference. What I am earning there, I don't need anything to do that, to make that money.
No skill, nothing.
But for me to earn 500,000 naira here in Nigeria, I would need for like 50 years. I forget you be doctor, so you've read for like 10 years. So do you now see why people will now do whatever it takes to Japa?
Yeah.
So
thank you so much, guys, for joining me on this show. I hope you have enjoyed today's show. Keep it a date with us every week on this channel. Do not forget to like, drop a comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you.